it's Catherine. Welcome back to my channel. Tonight, instead of Liquored and Lacquered, I am going to do a tag video. Now, I know I said when I announced my New Year's resolution to beat breast cancer that I wasn't going to talk about cancer on this channel, but the response to my announcement, the support, the level of positivity from all of you guys and everybody around at home and all that kind of thing was so huge that I couldn't but address it one more time, and I'll probably address it again. Also, I feel a little bit more comfortable talking about it now, and I wanted to do this video before my chemotherapy starts tomorrow. When you see this, it'll be starting the following day. So I decided to pick out 5 pinks that I'm going to use for the seasons of this year and one for the festive season, so 4 seasons and 1 festive season. And I'm going to talk you through my choices. Before I do, I want to give a bit of a shout out and a massive thank you to my mum and Catherine and all her friends that are putting together a charity team in Ireland called Cronall's Crew, so hashtag Cronall's Crew. And yeah, they're running races, they're doing a coffee morning and a raffle, and it's kind of overwhelming. So they are raising money for I think it's for breast cancer research in Ireland, which is fantastic. And also massive shout out to Kat at Arda's Nails, who is doing a year-long charity polish, a monthly charity polish, and she has already started raising money for breast cancer research in Ireland as well. I will put the Just Giving link down below, so if you'd like to donate you can, or you can just buy lovely polishes, and portions of the sale of the polishes will go to this charity. So thank you so much, Kat. I'm still completely overwhelmed at your generosity, and just your energy behind this is fantastic. I'll also put some links for breast cancer charities in the UK and the US down below as well, and Canada if I can find one. But if you have any others, please let me know and I'll try and list them where when I can. So yeah, I will talk a little bit more about breast cancer awareness towards the end of this video, but right now, let's get into polishes. So I should have mentioned as well, because we'll have a monthly polish from Arda's Nails, I didn't pick an Arda's Nails, although I do have a beautiful pink from Arda's Nails called Dreamy. It's one of the creams, and it's absolutely dreamy, and it's a really pale pink, so that will probably make an appearance, but it's not in my tag video. But there will be lots of Arda's Nails stuff this year for sure. Also, I have a ginormous Arda's Nails haul to still get through. More on that later. Alright, so the first polish I'm going to pick is my Winter Pink. Now, I'm already kind of breaking the rules with this one. This is described as a pink lilac, and for me it leans into the pink enough for it to be used as my winter pick choice. And this is Wear It Like Armour, and this is the polish I intend on wearing tomorrow when I go for my chemotherapy session for the first time. And I decided it's kind of combining a lot of my loves: nail polish, Game of Thrones, and I really like the saying as well, wear it like armor, because that's one of the hardest things about the diagnosis, is getting my head around the fact that I'm going to have to get sick to get better. And the chemotherapy is kind of scary, but I'm going to wear it like armour. It's going to protect me in the end and get rid of this nasty, nasty disease. So yeah, this is CHATTY Lacquer's Wear It Like Armour, and this is what I'm going to be sporting for my winter pick, and it's my winter pink. So that's the first category. Now the second category, and it was a toss-up between this and Dreamy, but I went with this one in the end, simply because I haven't worn it, and also it's quite close to the breast cancer pink colour. And this is Backseat Besties by Essie. It's almost a one-coater cream, and it's beautiful. I thought this would be perfect going into the spring. It's a nice bright spring pink colour, and I think this came out in a spring summer collection, and I really, really love it. It's perfect for coming into that spring, as I said, so that is my spring pink choice. Now the summer one was actually quite hard because I do love a neon pink, and I decided to go for this one from ILMP, and this is called Summer Crush, so it kind of works well for my summer choice. And it's leaning into neon pink, but I don't think it's just that kind of highlighter neon. It is very, very, very bright, and it's separated this bottle quite a bit, but the application is still fine. And there is a scattered gold kind of micro glitter, micro shimmer in here, and then a scattered holographic in here as well. Really, really pretty polish. I love this in the summer, so this will be my pink choice for the summer. And autumn then, I decided to go for this one from New York. My favorite type of pink is a rosy colored pink. I love rosy colors, and this is a very kind of muted, almost grayed out rosy color, and I think it's perfect for our dusty rosy color, and I think it's perfect for the autumn. And it is called New York, so this is kind of special to me as well because I got engaged in New York, and this has a beautiful scattered holographic in it as well. So come autumn, this is what I'm going to be sporting as my autumn pink. And then finally, hopefully this time next year, coming out of the festive season into the new year, I will be well on the road to recovery. I mean, I'll still have probably 5 years of hormone therapy or a lifelong hormone therapy ahead of me, but hopefully I will have put this cancer back into remission. And to celebrate, I'll want something very, very sparkly for the festive season, and this is called Wish because it is my #1 wish right now. And it's a beautiful full coverage glitter bomb, pink, and it's from Cupcake Polish. One of my favorite polishes of all time is Believe, which I think is from the same collection, and it's kind of a purpley blue full coverage glitter. So I don't think I've worn this yet, so I'm really looking forward to wearing this for the festive season. So that is Wish. So they were my choices. So I had winter, spring, summer, autumn and festive choices there in pinks. And if you would like to take part, I tag anybody who wants to take part, in particular all of the girls I usually do the collab with, but anyone who wants to take part, please do. You can take part on Instagram, YouTube, or just let me know in the comments down below what would you pick for each category. I actually don't have a huge amount of pink in my collection. I like it, but I don't actually have when I went to do this tag, I realized I don't have a huge amount. I mean, I still have enough polish, but I don't have a huge amount of pink. And I actually did a breast cancer awareness video in, I think it was 2016, where I looked at my favorite pinks. So it's not the first time I've done a breast cancer awareness tag, actually. So if you would like to take part, please do, and let me know in the comments down below so I can go and check out your choices as well. So that's it for the polish. For those of you who are interested, I'm going to give you a little bit more information about my diagnosis and just how to become more breast aware, if you like. So stay tuned for that. So the first thing I should say is that I do have a family history of breast cancer on both sides of my family, but my mum has never had breast cancer, or my sister, thankfully, touch wood. And I have an aunt, 2 aunts who had breast cancer, and 2 maternal aunts, and then my paternal grandmother died of breast cancer when she was actually my age. So that was the scariest thing about the diagnosis. And because of that family history, I've had regular screenings here in Switzerland every year. Actually, I work with my gynecologist, and she was well aware of my family history. So I was already, for the last maybe 7 or 8 years, getting regular screenings. Even though I'm quite young, I was kind of in that higher risk category. Now, about 2 years ago, they did stop doing mammograms, but that, I believe, was a Swiss kind of a general Swiss policy, because they felt that mammograms were maybe doing more harm than good. So I was getting mammograms up until 2 years ago, and then I think my last mammogram was in 2016 actually, and so I hadn't had one in 2017. My cancer wouldn't have been there in 2017 anyway, so it kind of doesn't matter. The reason I want to mention this is I get regular screenings, but the type of cancer I have is not hereditary, ironically enough. So I was just lucky to be already in the system, if that makes sense. And the type of cancer I have can hit anyone, anytime, anywhere, at any age, and it's a good idea to get yourself checked out. Women get this in their 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, all the entire age group. So it is really, really good idea to work with your gynecologist to get that checked out. What I will say, so that's the first thing, get your annual screenings. What I will say is that my gynecologist does ultrasounds on my breasts. Whenever she's doing the smear test and all that kind of thing, she also does an ultrasound on my breast, and she also does she also checks for lumps and bumps and all that kind of thing. And the ultrasound, I had 2 ultrasounds on what they found in my left breast, and both of those ultrasounds seemed to show up the mass better than the mammogram I had, and also on the lymph nodes they could see it better with the ultrasound. And then obviously PET scans and MRIs are even better than that, but it might be something to discuss with your gynecologist. I'm not sure if it's a matter of common practice in the UK and Ireland, or the US and Canada, or wherever you are. I'd be interested to know down below, but I feel like ultrasounds are probably a good thing maybe to ask for, and mammograms are awful anyway, they're terribly uncomfortable. So yeah, if you can, maybe talk to your gynecologist or your doctor about ultrasounds for your breast. The third thing I want to talk to you about is symptoms. Okay, so I mentioned this before. I didn't have any lump. I didn't feel any lump, and my gynecologist didn't feel any lump in my annual checkup. That was the 12th of December. She saw it on the ultrasound, and I had my mammogram and biopsy and all that done on the 17th. But I didn't feel a lump until let me just count backwards in my head, the 15th of December. That's the first time I felt a lump. And my gynecologist, I haven't seen her since the diagnosis. She still hasn't felt a lump. And it's 4.5 centimeters long, and I still didn't feel it. So I was constantly checking. I was constantly aware that I needed to check. I'm quite mindful of it because of the family history. And I was constantly looking for like any changes, but also like they tell you to look for small pea-sized lumps, but I didn't have anything like that. So it's just worth kind of remembering that you should be getting other sorts of checks, that, you know, just feeling for lumps and changes or looking for changes may not be the only way to go. Now, I will say that when I went to my gynecologist for the annual checkup, I did have some kind of redness on my left breast, and I assumed, I mean, I'm still not entirely sure if it's connected with the cancer or not. I assume that's because for the 5 weeks before my checkup, I'd been sleeping pretty much exclusively on my left side. And this is coming to another surprising kind of anecdotal symptom that I've come across. For 5 weeks, I was sleeping on that side because I had a very, very painful shoulder, to the point where, on my right side, to the point where I couldn't write, like I can do it now, but I couldn't raise my arm more than halfway up the board, and eventually I couldn't write on the board at all, and I was even going around in a sling at one stage because it was so painful. So when I went for my annual checkup, I mentioned it to my gynecologist, actually, because I had to get, she was doing a check, and I was like, oh, it's really painful, and she's like, yeah, you should get that checked out. Since then, I have been told by a couple of people that, and this is anecdotal, I haven't confirmed this with a doctor, but for what it's worth, I'm going to share it with you, that often people get, women, but men can get breast cancer as well, get pain in the opposite shoulder to where the cancer is. So I was getting it in my right, the cancer is in my left. So for what it's worth, that's something to bear in mind. And when I went for my mammogram, the woman that was giving my mammogram, the nurse that was giving my, the technician, the radiologist in the clinic here, that was the second person she'd seen with a frozen shoulder. Nobody seemed, not frozen shoulder, but a painful shoulder. Nobody seemed surprised that the shoulder was an issue. So I guess there might be something to it. I don't know why, but there might be something to it. It's just worth mentioning, because really it's the only symptom I can point to definitively. There are other symptoms. I was really run down the last few months. I got really bad doses of tonsillitis. I had a cold. Just one thing after another. And I spoke with my GP the other day, and he said, you know, it was your immune system telling you something was wrong. But again, no symptoms in my breast that I could point to. And for me, my annual checkup probably should have been in November, rather than December, but I couldn't get an appointment. But there's no guarantee that they would have even spotted it in November. It's such a fast growing cancer, so there's an element of luck built into this. But at the same time, I have been pretty conscious that I needed to go for screenings all the time, so that is something that has probably been very lucky and has saved me in a lot of ways. So that's just something I wanted to point out with breast cancer awareness. Get yourself checked. There are lots of different kinds of symptoms to watch out for. Ask for ultrasounds if you can, and yeah, just be mindful of what's going on with your body. Another thing, and I mentioned this in my New Year's resolution video, and I talked to my GP about it, and we were talking about strategies of how I can fix this, but my mind-body balance was completely out of whack. I was super stressed out. I wasn't listening to my body, and that's something now that I'm aware of what's going on. I'm almost hyper aware of what's going on with my body, and everything is kind of starting to fall back into place. They're coming back together, and basically that's what I need to do for the next year. Just make those two things come back together and just be more mindful of that, reducing stress in my life and creating more kind of harmonious relationship between the two. It sounds a bit kind of namby-pamby, but it's really, really important because you need to listen to what's going on with your body. Now, in saying that, my cancer is quite aggressive, so I don't know if I would have noticed anything else, but hey, anyway, they caught it, so that's the main thing. So that's it. That's just a little bit about my diagnosis and how to be more breast aware. Again, thank you so much to everybody who's taking part in raising money for breast cancer research, and to Arda's Nails, to all the Cronall's crew and my mom at home, to my family at home, and to everybody. And thank you so much to anybody who reached out, who's survivors of breast cancer or who are relatives to survivor of breast cancer. Those kind of stories are really inspiring, and congratulations to all of you. And thank you for your words of encouragement and support. I do have very, very dark days. A lot of people have said, you're so brave, you're so positive, and I do believe I can beat this. I really do. But there are dark days, so it really helps to have all of those messages of support and encouragement there. I can't thank you enough. And I'm going to tear up, because not because I'm afraid or sad, just because I'm very lucky. So before I make a mess of my makeup, I have to go see my breast cancer nurse now and find out all about chemotherapy and all that kind of thing. So of course I have like a big notebook with lots of questions. One thing I have noticed with this diagnosis, I am a very ugly crier. So I'm not going to cry on camera, because that's just, nobody needs to see that, and I definitely don't need to see that in editing. So thank you so much to everybody for watching, and best of luck if you do the tag. I can't wait to see your choices. Talk to you all again soon. Bye.